Hi, this is Joseph. Today is Wednesday. It's June 1st. So this is a follow-up of the My Forex Funds challenge. This is a $10,000 trading account. I passed phase one yesterday, which was to hit an 8% target, a total of $800 on a $10,000 trading account. And today we started on the second phase, which is phase two, 5% target or $500 on a $10,000 trading account. So let me show you what the results were. I'll give you a quick view of the trade and I'll walk you through this one here. This is a 5-minute chart and this is the US30. I like trading the US30. Very comfortable time frame for me because I live in California, so at about 6:30 in the morning I can watch the market open. This is the first 9:30 or 6:30 California time. That's the first 5-minute bar. I took an entry on the break of that 5-minute bar to the downside, but waited for the pullback. I'll talk about that here in a moment. But this is what it looked like. So with this 10K account, I'm trading a 0.01 lot size, and that equals $1 per point. So today's move was 454 points. That's the move. So this was the entry here. The entry was 33,154 and I closed the trade out at 32,700. So that was 454 points. And then on the $10,000 account, that resulted in $454, but my target was 500 for the day. Or whether it took today or not, it really didn't matter. I can only take trades when they're available and the market makes them available for me. But the second phase, to pass the second phase, is 5% or $500. So you can see I'm 46 points away from passing phase two. So this will give you a pretty good idea of how long you could expect if you use this particular company for a funded account, which is My Forex Funds. This will give you an idea of how long it would take for me to pass. Now, I can't say again that every day is going to produce opportunities like this. So this is pretty common. I mean, this happens where I would get a 400, 500 point move like this. It's pretty consistent very often. I can't say that it's going to happen every day. And if you look at some of the previous videos, you can see that I was even talking about a couple of weeks back where there was a 1,000 point move. So I earned 1,100 points to the downside, and that was back in the middle of May, I believe, and then I did it a couple of times in April. But that doesn't happen every day. So that's the other thing you need to be prepared for, is that if you're going to use the trade copier, my service, to pass a funded challenge, regardless if it's My Forex Funds or not, you want to get a pretty good idea of how long it's going to take. Everybody wants to know how long is it going to take. So again, it just all depends on the market. I can't force anything. There's going to be days where it might look like this, you know what I mean, and I might not get anything. I'm going to be very, very careful. But this is pretty regular. I would say moves like this where I could get 400, maybe it would be the result of 200 point trades. Sometimes that'll happen. But I would say that I could pass phase one within a week, maybe a little more than a week, depending on how slow the market is. And then phase two is obviously easier because it's just 5%, and that could be done within the week. So the whole thing in this case is all going to be wrapped up in 1 week, phase one and phase two. And that happens, that is happening now because of the activity. Again, I can't guarantee that every single time I take a challenge like this and you use my trade copier that you're going to pass both phase one and phase two in 1 week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 3 weeks. But this will give you a pretty good idea. So again, I also have a $100,000 challenge that I'm recording, and we're doing a case study on. So let me give you an idea of what it looks like. So on the $10,000 trading account, I'm trading a 0.01 lot size, which is $1 a point. On the 100K account, the $100,000 account, I'm trading a 0.5 lot size, and that's approximately $50 per point. So today's trades resulted in $22,700. Now this will give you a good idea if you're struggling with which one should you start off with. Like you can pay for whichever size funded account you want to get. I would recommend, if you've never done it, start off with a $10,000 account, and that is $84. They actually have a $5,000 account that they just came out with yesterday, and that's $46, I think. But the 10K account is a good starting point. Obviously, you're not going to make, I mean, you could make some decent money at the end of the month with a 10K account. If I have consistent trades that are throughout the month that look like this, but if you really want to make the money that you're thinking about, 10, 15, $20,000 a month or more, you want to get a larger size trading account. So a 100K account, again, today's trades, just this one trade, resulted in $22,700. Now I also have a 400K account. I've got several with different companies, other companies, and I'm trading anywhere from 1.5 lot size to 3 lots per trade. But just today with this one, 1.5 lot size, that's $150 per point, and that resulted in $68,000. So $68,100 with just one 400K account. So that'll give you an idea of what you could expect to earn on days like this. So again, you could use the trade copier if you're not comfortable with trading it yourself. You can let me do all of the trades. All of these trades go into my own personal funded account. So that's a real good advantage, is that you know that I'm not just executing trades just to do it for fun. I know a lot of other companies, they fire off a lot of trades right at the open, hoping that some of them will go into profitability, and I don't do that. I mean, I'm very precise with my entries. So let's walk through this one. This was a 5-minute time frame. I waited until the market was open, and you can see that there was a little bit of activity here, and some people like trading that. I don't. I wait until the market's opened and the stock market opens, and it usually gives me much better trades that work a lot faster, and they're very consistent. So this was the first 5-minute bar. Let me go ahead and open that up and show you what I was doing here. So you can see here, based on the activity, there was a move to the upside, and it seemed to be breaking above this resistance point. So I'm marking off key levels of support and resistance. I'm also using zones, which are support and resistance zones. I'll talk about that here on to the downside. Now, sometimes I can get in on the break of the first 5-minute bar. Sometimes the first 30 minutes, if I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, it'll go sideways inside a consolidation. It just kind of creates these head fakes. You have to be really sensitive to it. Every day is going to be a little bit different. And in a situation like that, where the first 30 minutes is a lot of consolidation and head fakes up and down, I'm also watching the 30-minute time frame and waiting for a break of the first 30-minute bar, if that's the scenario that I'm looking at, if it's just going to be consolidated and choppy. But this was very different. This was a head fake to the upside. I could see that it did not close above resistance. I could see that there was more volume coming in on this bar here. And you can see, based on where it closed, that there was a lot of aggressive selling. And then I waited for a pullback or a test. Now the tests I'm very, very comfortable with them. It really helps to confirm that it's likely to not go up any higher if the test holds. So on this move, I was thinking originally, when this candle, this first 5-minute bar closed, that I was probably going to see maybe 1 or 2 5-minute bars that would sort of move up right around this range and then drop. But that's not what happened. This created the test, and it slammed right back down and took out the low of that first 5-minute bar, all within the same 5-minute candle. So that was really aggressive. You can see, once again, it did it again. There was another test to the upside, a lot of selling. Another test to the upside, a lot of selling, and then it slammed right back down. And I could clearly see that this was going to be a quick move to the downside. So I was able to get in on the break of that first 5-minute bar today. I don't do that every day. Again, it really depends on how the market is behaving right at the open. So I'm watching price like an hour to 2 hours before the stock market opens, and then I wait for my trade entries. So again, this one, an entry at 33,154, and my initial targets, let me show you my initial targets on the way back down. So I had a support low right here that you can see. Let me go to the larger time frame and I'll show you where that came from. So I'm also using support and resistance zones from the larger time frames. They're critical for me. They're very important. Sometimes it'll be a 4-hour time frame. Sometimes it'll be a 1-hour time frame. And here you can see that I have a channel that price was respecting for quite a while last week and the week before, and it eventually broke out of that range right here. And here it also created, when it touched the upper boundaries of that range, that channel, it created a resistance point right here. And clearly, the 1-hour time frame, this is a very important level for me to be paying attention to. So here was going to be my first target if it was going to keep dropping. But I can continue to manage the trade if it's going to blast right through that support level. So I'm watching the 5-minute as it's approaching this support zone right here. This is that 1 hour resistance level that I showed you. So you can see it stops there. Let's go ahead and open this up. You can see that the candles are stopping right at that support low. I had a support here that I drew in because it looked like it was stalling right here at one point on the 5-minute chart. I left that there. You can see that what it was doing. So at one point it looked like this. It looked just like this. Let me pull that into view. So that's what it looked like when it was stalling. And I wasn't too sure if it was going to stay away from that support and then bounce, or if it was going to stall. So I immediately drew a support zone when that second bar right there closed. So I'm paying attention to that. And then you can see how it behaved. It popped up one more time, but closed below that support. At that point, I knew I could continue to hold onto the trade, and it was likely to hit that major support that I found on the 1 hour time frame. And then you can see here that prices and the candles of these candles are for the most part holding above this resistance, which was now support. And then it moved back up. And then again here with these two bullish bars, I'm not really too sure if it's going to reverse and go back up, so I'm watching it. But I can see that they're having some difficulty right here at that support low that I identified on the way back down. And I left it there. And I could see here that the market's telling me something. These candles are telling me something. It's holding. It's not going to go up any higher. You can see that these candles are holding here, and then it prints this evening star pattern right there. And I knew that it was likely to move down. Again, another price swing lower. And that's exactly what I traded it to. And once it created that hammer, that's when I really started to pay attention to. I really didn't see any significant hammers on the way back down. That really doesn't qualify. This is the one that really looks like the candle that I need to pay attention to see if it's going to reverse. And then on that second sideways bar, that's when I closed out the trade. And you can see that's where I left the take profit level. So again, 454 points to the downside. Now, I knew that it was going to move down a little bit lower. It's kind of like that slow moving train, right? It takes a while to move a train with that kind of momentum, and that's how I think of it. You know, I'm looking at this and realizing that it's likely to go a little bit lower, but you can't hold on for every single last point. Sometimes you give back too much profits. And I'm certainly not going to jump in on a move like this when I knew that there's just no reason on a day like today to see, a 1,000 point move that we saw a couple of times in the last few months. So you got to be careful. So again, here's where we are currently, moved right back up to this range, and I'm out of the trade. So just one trade is all it takes to make a really healthy profit each day. And again, we're 46 points away from passing phase 2, which I'll do tomorrow. I'll post that video up tomorrow. Really, really close to passing this whole thing. And then this would be a live funded account for $10,000. And I'm doing the same thing on a new $100,000 account. And I also have multiple 400K accounts that I've earned over $68,000 today with these trades, 1.5 lot size. And then I have numerous 100K accounts as well with other companies. So I'll post those updates tomorrow as we wrap up this 10K challenge.